I think I've heard a lot about how we can adapt into this new world of teaching and learning, and how can Microsoft help you do that is probably the question I want to answer for all of you. And we are here to partner with Cambodia and the teaching and learning community of Cambodia, as we do across the world. Our mission at Microsoft is to empower every individual and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And if we are to do that, we have to start with education. So our commitment to education has been long lasting for 45 plus years of the history of Microsoft being in existence. We have been partnering with education leaders across the planet. So in my presentation today, I just want to give you a few ideas on how you can get started on this journey with us. 10 minutes is not enough, and 20 minutes certainly not enough for us to go through all of it. I just want to give you a flavor for you to get started so that you are leveraging a platform that you can use to create what we are terming a modern classroom. Because the definition of a classroom has significantly changed, not just in this century, but significantly changed in the last 10 months, 11 months since the beginning of this pandemic. And we've been at the forefront of responding to the first responders. So as our CEO, Mr. Satya Nadella says, teachers are the first responders. They are at the front line of having to deal with so many different things at so many different levels when it comes to educating customers, right? So we need to be very cognizant about this and be, ready to help. So that's what we do. So I have the privilege of being the first responder to you as the first responder to our students. So what does that mean? That basically means we are empowering you with a platform that is going to help you meet your competing priorities to make sure you're able to deliver on your curriculum mandates. And I am yet to meet a teacher who says, I have too much time. I'm yet to meet a teacher who says I am done with everything, because there's so much to be done. So we want to help you save time. We want to make sure you allocate your time towards personalized instruction with higher impact activities. Of course, we want to create those emotional and cognitive skills. I heard a lot about how do we measure, not just the assessment side of things, but also the social emotional side of things, and be able to, provide feedback in real time as much as possible, so that we can foster a personalized, inclusive, immersive, and collaborative accessible learning as well. Because one of the other things that we often ignore in the day-to-day activities is how are we also meeting the requirements of people who do require accessibility, which is through their disabilities. It could be visible disabilities or invisible disabilities. We want to make sure that the platform you're leveraging addresses all of these and encompasses all of the requirements of different learning styles, be it fortunate people like us who are normal and don't have the visibility issues or hearing issues or other issues that can come in the way of their teaching and learning. So how do we do this? We want to make sure that we do this through having a deep commitment so that we make this technology available. And yes, it is absolutely true. You can get started with Office 365 for free. And I'm going to tell you how to do that. And not only how to do that, why you should be doing that. Because what we have noticed is that there have been a lot of, in the last 12 months, what we've noticed is there are a prolific, a big kind of adoption of multiple tools in schools, which has created a lot of silos of data. What we are attempting to do is create a platform that you can bring all of this together into a environment which is a digital hub for you to be able to do your teaching and learning from, rather than having to go to multiple different places. Because one of the things we've also noticed is that in a 45-minute classroom, you do not have the time to switch between tools and be able to manipulate different environments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out of my PowerPoint and share with you my screen so you know exactly what to do to go and get started. And I'm going to send you these links in the chat window so that you can actually see what's going on. So this is where you go and get Office 365 for free. And I'll repeat, you do get started for free. So there is the A1 offer that allows you to get all of the Office applications, all of the services in the cloud to do events like the one we are doing right now. We could even run that event in a tool called Teams, or run classrooms in the cloud for free. And this gives you unlimited storage in the cloud for individuals. It gives you 50 gigabytes of email, and it is just the most amazing platform for you to get started with. So I'm going to give you a link to all of this so that you can go and get your school registered if you're not already doing so. And what does this all look like? So when you land up in a page like this where you're able to start, obviously creating, communicating, and do all the things that you would normally do. But one of the tools that we've really introduced and made possible for educators to connect with each other is this thing called Microsoft Teams. And Microsoft Teams is really all about making sure that you're able to bring your teaching and learning into one place. Because what we've noticed is, as I said earlier, there are tools for this, there's a tool for that. You go and get one tool for video conferencing. You go and get one tool for assessment. Go and do another tool for engagement. You get another tool for various aspects. So what we did was we actually talked to a lot of educators over the last few years and see, well, how do we bring all of this together? So how do I communicate with my school and my class? How do I create specialized groups so that you can have group conversations and we can have breakouts and those sort of things, and do that through a simple interface? The idea here is to keep you within the one interface. And Teams is attempting to do that by making sure that we can have communication, so we can make announcements, we can share praise with each other when we're doing well, or we're just having or we want to do some kind of a conversation. We can do all of that here on a day-to-day basis. Not only that, we can have conversations not just with text, but with emojis, with GIFs, so we can have a little bit of fun. We can encourage each other by giving each other stickers, so that we can actually know that we are doing a great job. And those sort of things are already built in, so we don't need to kind of think about this as separate tools. Then we can bring in videos. In fact, we do provide you a secure video streaming platform called Stream that's built right into Office 365, and it's available for free within the platform, so you can take advantage of that. You can integrate other applications, like, for example, YouTube. So if you're seeing where my mouse is, you can actually see that I'm able to integrate other platforms into this as well. I can use this to take polls by using third party. I can bring in applications like Wikipedia. So if I wanted to bring in a Wikipedia article about Cambodia right into the chat, I could do that. So I could just enter that, and that would go into the chat, and we could have a conversation about this particular Wikipedia. So now everyone could start collaborating and reacting to this particular item that we've shared. If we need to do a search or we need to look up news, we can do that. So we can go and get what's happening, and we could have a conversation about what's in the news. So on and so forth. So there's a lot of possibilities just from the conversation view. And by the way, this is completely extensible, so we can add more applications. So there are applications for education that are being added literally every day. So you can integrate with Kahoot, we can integrate with Quizlet, Flipgrid. By the way, Flipgrid is also another application that is available from Microsoft as part of Office 365. Again, an ability for you to create videos and share videos with each other from within Teams. So again, we're not trying to get you out of the Teams environment. We integrate with Menti and so on and so forth, right? So you'll see, and this list keeps on getting bigger and bigger every day. So that's something that we are bringing together in one place as a value add for all of you to be able to not just communicate with each other through chat, but also interact with each other by leveraging applications. The next thing that we also do here is we bring together the ability for you to share files and be able to go and get all of these things in one place, so that all of your files that are relevant to this particular class, in this case, this is the physical science class, I can bring all of them together in the one place. I can also use these files to also create assignments, right? So that I can say, hey, please read the assignment on Amazon rainforest, and then provide your input and answer these questions, right? Those sort of things can be done from right within here. Teachers have a very special area called class materials, which is locked for the students. So only Teachers can add files here. Students can only read the files. This creates a secure place for you to create content and share the content from here. So that way, the students cannot go and change it, edit it, or delete it, or what have you. So that's another way for you to actually think about how we bring files into the conversation that you already might have, because a lot of teachers have already created lesson plans inside PowerPoint, inside Excel, inside Word, that we can leverage and put inside here. And by the way, when you click on this, you will see that it starts the PowerPoint within Teams. So again, I don't expect you to get out of Teams to go and be able to take advantage of this. So it becomes the one place for you to start creating content, displaying content, sharing content, and being able to use that content from the one place. So as you notice, I've not actually changed my window in doing so. And when I go to a lot of classrooms, there's a lot of coordination time that goes into, oh, this is in this tab. Have you opened this? Have you not opened this? Teams gets rid of all of that. Let me do a quick demo for you as well. I'm going to create a PowerPoint in front of you, and we're going to make a very nice looking PowerPoint just by using AI. So for example, if I wanted to make a presentation on oceans, I could do that. But I could also, if you notice, it's actually using AI to go and create a more immersive PowerPoint for me. For example, it knows I'm using the word oceans, so it will start formatting it in such a way that it will start reflecting the theme of the conversation, in this case oceans, right? Now if I was to go and change this to something else, and again this is happening in the cloud for you. Let's go, we're going to talk about planes, for example. Right? It's using AI again to look at what's happening, and there you go. It's now gone and figured out that we're talking about planes. It could be planes as in aeroplanes, or it could be planes as in land planes. So these are things that we have done in the background to make it easier for you to create more immersive, good-looking content that is going to engage your end user. And of course, we can not only just do this, we can insert things like it'll create its own designs for you. But we can also create more immersive content by including videos and other things right into the actual PowerPoint. So PowerPoint's a great example of how we're integrating a traditional application into a new application, which is Teams in this case. Okay, so the other thing we can do within Teams is this concept called class notebook, and this is quite different to what you may be used to with other tools that you might have come across. Fundamentally, what we've done is we've brought together the concept of a notebook but made it digital. So what we found was, a lot of teachers obviously are very familiar with how we create notebooks and use notebooks in the classroom to give content, or students takes their notes in the notebook, or they do their work in the notebook and then they hand in the notebook to go and get their work assessed. What we did was we created a digital equivalent of that. So now what we can do is we can use a collaboration space for everyone to collaborate. So we can go and in this case it might be a project that we want to talk about, and we can go and create content together, right? We can all contribute into this. Or we can have a content library where the teacher can just create content and provide it to the student. The student cannot edit what's in the content library. They can edit what's in the collaboration space, because that's what we're meant to do, is collaborate and create content. The next thing we do is we create a space for individual students. So you'll notice here Adele, Al, Alex have their own individual area. And because I have logged in as a teacher, I can see what Adele has done in terms of the ocean project. I can see what Al would have done in terms of their ocean project, right? So we know exactly what has been done. We can assess their homework. When a student logs in, they won't see each other's space. They'll only see their own space. So if Adele logged in, Adele would only see Adele's space, right? She won't be able to look at what Al's done. So this creates for a very easy way for us to have a collaborative as well as a one-to-one conversation between the teacher and the student. And the teacher can have a conversation with the entire classroom at large. And one of the other things that we've done, which is gets a lot of praise, is this ability for us to create content and distribute it. So we can distribute pages, we can distribute it to individuals, we can distribute it to groups, or we can distribute it to the multiple classrooms at the same time. We can distribute entire sections, we can content entire libraries, and we can also review student work from right within the class notebook. So we don't have to go to different tools. Again, what you probably notice, one of the things that we are doing here is not getting you to use multiple different tools. That's the aim of how the Microsoft 365 platform has been designed to be used in the classroom. Now, of course, you'll say, "Well, I want to be able to do things like I do with tools to assign work to them, and I can do that right within Teams because we are able to create quizzes and assignments from within this environment. So you're able to go in and assign particular work. Oh, by the way, one more thing you probably have noticed here is if anyone has any questions, they can just click on this button to meet, and we can all have a video conference right immediately. Because if there's anything that needs to be done on an immediate basis, we can either meet now or we can schedule a meeting. I'll get to that in a minute. But in terms of the assignments, what you'll notice here is that we are able to create assignments. We can add rubrics to those assignments. We can put in, assignment, who we are assigning this to, either to the entire class, or we can choose individuals within the class, right? So we can say this is only for the more advanced students, right? And that can be made available to only those group of students, or otherwise, right? And then the other thing we can do is we can bring in content by adding resources to these assignments. And this can be from the files that we've created earlier. And you probably notice that we are able to go in and bring in any of the content that we have created, right? That was created earlier. Or I can bring it in from Teams. So if I go to the physical ed, I can go into documents, and under general, you'll see the demo Cambodia app thing that I just did earlier. I can attach that into this, and I can ask the students to do something with that particular file. And that will be copied to their individual workspace as well, and they can work on it and submit that work back in. And once we have done that, we can also grade them. We can grade the individual user right from within here, so that it has the ability for you to then provide feedback in form of either visual, you can write on the notebook. By the way, sorry, one more thing I should have informed you earlier. The notebooks are not just limited to typing, but also you are able to use ink based feedback as well. So you'll notice in here, for example, this can do maths. This can be used for creating notes using handwriting if you have a digital ink enabled device. And we strongly encourage you all to purchase digital ink enabled devices so that you can actually use this in a more effective way. Because even from a feedback perspective, we can provide feedback either by writing in here, right? Or we can even record our feedback directly in here. We can dictate and have it record directly inside OneNote. So there are multiple ways you can actually provide feedback. So that's some of the things that we can do within Teams. And beyond grades, we can also bring in other applications, right? We can bring in Kahoot, like I said to you. I gave you a demo earlier on. We can log in into, or if I wanted to bring in a document, and it could be a document that is Word. It could be a document that is not Word. So it's not limited to just Microsoft tools. This could be, if you are already an existing school that uses other platforms, we can integrate and bring those into this environment as well. And of course, we are able to bring in other resources, like, for example, if you wanted to bring in a page from like a video from YouTube, for example, we could bring that into your conversation as well. So it could be anything, really. There are multiple ways you can start using this platform to start creating a very customized space for you to work within your classroom. It is not limited to what we are providing out of the box. Now, one last thing I will show you is this thing called Insights. Now, one of the things that we have learned in the last 12 months is that so many tools are being used, but we don't know how effective they are at providing the teaching and learning outcomes that we so desire from our students. So what we've done is we've created this thing called an Insights app, and I'm going to demonstrate this to you through a video that has been made earlier, and I'll send you a link to this video as well. What Insights does is literally gives us the ability for the teacher to understand what's happening in their classroom, and I'll show you this in a minute. So for example, we've got a classroom here. We can add this app called Insights into Teams, and it's available for free, right? What it does, it gives the teacher the ability to go and see how their class is doing. In this case, you can see here, how's my activity on each day? Which students are inactive? Have any of the students missed any submissions? Are they missing meetings? So we can even get a very high level overview of whether they're attending your online classes or not. So it's even doing attendance for you automatically, right? When we jump into the classroom, we can even see things like, okay, well, I want to be able to see, inactive students. I want to be able to see how much communication is happening between the students, how many students have been inactive this week, or what activity is happening, which meetings were the students are absent from, why is a particular student late for a particular class. We can have those conversations that gives us insights into having a more meaningful conversation with the students. We can of course look at their grades as well, because we can grade within teams, so you can actually see what's happening within the actual classroom, and reflect back on why a particular student might be doing better or worse than the class average. For example, here we can look at the activity of each student. So we can see what activity each individual student has been doing in the last 7 days, last 30 days, or in the last day. We can see whether they are actually paying attention and are leveraging the resources. So we can go drill down at a very detailed level to understand whether the resources that are provided in the class are leveraged by the student as part of the teaching and learning process. So those are things that we really are focused on to give you more in-depth insights into this. So to get started on all of this, so you're probably wondering, this is great. How do I get started on all of this? And the way you do that is, first of all, I strongly encourage you to join our Educator Center community. It's free for you to join. It's for teachers and for teachers to learn how to use our platform, to go and learn how to use it in the context of teaching and learning. So you will see multiple different teaching and learning paths. And my favorite part is you can go and collect badges for this, so that you can share that you are aware and you are certified, or you've taken the time to learn a particular technology and are adopting that technology in your class. So there's badges to be had that we can actually showcase, or even show on LinkedIn and other things. So you're able to showcase that you are putting in the effort to be a better educator in the context of teaching and learning online. There is, how do we use blended approach for teaching and learning? How do we use Office 365 and Windows? So this is not about using the tools. This is about using the tools in a particular way. How do you create creativity in the classroom? Like I said earlier, how do we use the tools to meet people who may have dyslexia? And we have, very strong tools to help you with dyslexia. One of the things that I will show you, and you may like, is this thing called Learning Tools. Learning Tools is something that we created very early on, because we noticed a lot of our own children who are, kids of our own employees were struggling to read. So we created this thing called the Immersive Reader. The Immersive Reader allows you to create a very safe environment for you to learn to read. So in this case, what you'll notice is I'm able to use AI to go and create a very easy. So these are the things we can do, right? We can highlight things like syllables. We can add nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. We can show that these are labels for them. We can either create line focus. My favorite thing, we can actually translate this from English to other languages, and this will do the whole document for us quite easily. So these are all things that are built in. And by the way, all of these things are available for free as part of the Office 365 platform. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a run through. This was not supposed to be in depth, But I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of what's going on with the Microsoft platform. I want to thank you all for being here with me and spending the time with me. I hope there are questions that have been raised by this. So if you are interested, please let me know and we can talk to you about it.